Ices are fucked up, man. Personally, and we're not ready for this conversation, I am in favor of a more stringent wobbling ban. I think that it is not nerfed enough. This is it. When we banned wobbling, we didn't ban it, we limited it. We said, okay, we're gonna give you 4 nana attacks as a trade-off because that seems like a reasonable trade-off for damage per grab. That was the line. And that line has been blown the fuck past. Now we're getting kills off of single grabs. We do not have the same information that we did 6 years ago. They do way different scales of damage. If that was the metric that we were using for what a reasonable amount of wobbling would be, we should be looking at the damage they do now and maybe reconsidering if this was the appropriate threshold. Maybe they can still wobble too much. Maybe 4 is too many, maybe 3 is too many. I like to liken it to Smash 4 Bayonetta. So in Smash 4, right before the final balance patch, Bayonetta was fucked up. She had the most brain dead combos. A toddler could do it. It was so easy and so degenerate and so fucked up. So Nintendo realized this and they nerfed Bayonetta in the final balance patch pretty severely. All of these brain dead things were off the table. So then people labbed the character and they realized she was way worse than people ever thought. She had way more fucked up stuff. Nerfing the obviously busted thing caused people to actually dig into the character and they realized, no, she's still fucked up way more than we realized. And all this did was accelerate people labbing the character. And the exact same thing has happened with Ice Climbers. All of this shit was on the table a decade ago, 20 years ago. All of these F-throw, dash attack, chain grabs on Falco, all of these, oh, I got the wobble at 0 setups. All of this shit was in the character, but they just didn't care because they could just wobble. And now that we've banned wobbling and people have had to investigate into the depths of this character, the character with probably the deepest well of tech that is in the game, we've realized that Ice Climbers are so good. People forget, they don't just have a punish game off grab. They have a real combo game too. They can reaction tech chase. They can do DI mix-ups and things that competent players can do, but that the Ice Climbers players never had to learn. But now they've had to do some homework. Now good players are picking up Ice Climbers and having disgusting results. Sometimes, especially in a game as small and as niche as Melee, the skill level of a player matters a lot more, and the labbing, it matters a lot more than just hours in representation. Why is this a bad thing? Because Ice Climbers being good, personally, does not align with the values that I think we should be championing in good Melee. It's like the shot clock in basketball, right? Why do we have a shot clock? To disincentivize or disallow degenerate play. Why do we want a ledge grab limit? Because that does not align with the Melee we want to play, that we should be celebrating, that people want to watch, that make people want to stay involved with the game. I'm saying this as a former wobbler. I played Ice Climbers. I mained Ice Climbers for years. That character was not okay. That character is still not okay. And I don't begrudge anybody for playing them. I think they're really interesting. I think that they're cool. The handoff stuff, all the tech is really, really interesting. I get why people like playing the character. And I hope that we can find a rule set and a balance that makes it so that this skill expression component and all of this like labbing and all of this development remains intact without getting 60% off a grab. I think that's fair. I don't want the character banned. I just want us to evaluate the implementation of wobbling restriction. You can't with me just let you play the game, just let us play the game too. That's what I'm saying. I think that there is some level of trade-off here that has to be, that we can just discuss. And my point was not to get into this Ice Climbers rant. I apologize. I got riled up a little bit. And like I said, I don't fault people for playing the character or thinking that they're cool or enjoying all of this tech. I think it's fun as the Ice Climbers player. I just don't know that it reflects the way that I think Melee should be. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to bully Ice Climbers mains. Like I said, I think the character has a lot to offer that makes them exciting or interesting. I do, I mained them, but I think that they can be incredibly degenerate also. Both of those things can be true. And if we can't have an earnest conversation about that, then what are we doing? And look, there are hypothetical ways that you could do this. You could say, instead of 12% knocking you out of Popo's grab, it's 1%. And then any move knocks you out. So the handoffs are post grab as opposed to doing damage while locked into the grab. You could say, oh, there's only one hit. before release. You know, same kind of a thing. You could say that nano moves do not lock in the grab timer if that's codable. There are ways to do this, but I think maybe not today, this is probably premature, but I think that eventually we're gonna have this conversation, especially if the Ice Climbers players keep doing better and better, you know, and that's okay. It's just not reflective, I think, of the skills that I think the majority of people, players and spectators, believe are essential to the idea of Melee.